the number one podcast in the world for 7 people. Welcome to my brothers and idiot, all 7 of you. We love each and every one of you. I don't care if you're listening in Myanmar or Gothenburg. Doesn't matter. Here we go. Guys, lots of stuff to get into, but first I want to say, hey, how's it going?
What's up, guys? Casual Wednesday. I'm drinking a new one. I think this one's called Saria. It's a hibiscus hoppy seltzer. So let's get into this, shall we?
Indeed. Tank, what's going on, bud?
Not much. I'm doing good. Coming up with some new cookie recipes at the moment and patiently waiting for my kids to be out of school for another week and a half.
Nice.
Hell
All
yeah.
of my kids are now officially out of school forever.
There you go.
I was just actually going to say that. Shout out to, the person who hates me when we do this podcast the most, who loves me very much because I bash on the team that she loves so much. But Sarah and Matt raised a couple of incredibly awesome kids, and we got to see the younger of the two graduate from university on Friday. And it was just enjoyable being around the entire family. We don't often get together just because we all live in different states. And it was a blast, man. I was glad to be there and damn proud of your kids, man.
Yeah, 2 more days and they'll be home. Good times.
Fuck yeah.
Already got a golf outing lined up with a vendor. He's in for a treat.
Hell yeah.
There you go.
And he just got some new clubs. Oh, he's gonna be
new driver, new putter.
Yeah.
He gave me the specs he wanted. I gotta tell you this. So I said, what kind of putter do you want? He sends me a picture of a Scotty. If you don't know anything about golf clubs, a Scotty Cameron is like a $500 putter. And I see this thing and it's like, it's a fucking Scotty. No fucking way. Then the next text he sends literally seconds later is, I don't want this. I want one that looks like this because I know what this is. I said, okay. Like, I'm not spending more on the putter than I will on the driver, bro. That's just not going to happen.
Make the PGA Tour and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, right. Yep. Play better than me and maybe we'll do it. But he's garbage, as we all are. But he's worse garbage than me. I've seen his swing.
Oh.
Well, let's get into it. We've got, and I put this out on TikTok yesterday, what a difference a week makes. We were all in on the Avs and super pessimistic about the Nugs, and now it's completely flipped. We'll start with the Avalanche. They are in big trouble here, fellas. Down 3-1, currently tied 2-2 going into the third period in Dallas. Mark, what have you seen from this series so far?
They were trending down to begin with. There's been a lot of, Jamie Benn's been really good. The goaltending for Dallas has been very, very good. And they've been doing a very good job with them. But then I think the heart and soul of this team kind of got sucked out right before game time the last time. And when they had 2 big announcements, one was they lost again Val Nichushkin for things that are unrelated to hockey. I'm not going to speak ill of him, but this is the 3rd offense he's had, so he will not be with the team until at least November of next year. And his nameplate has been removed from the locker room, and they're just moving on as if he doesn't exist. I think that sucked a lot of energy out of the room. And then right as the game started, they scratched Devin Taves. And those are 2 big leaders on that team that I don't know if they can. Obviously, they're doing a good job today because they've had some time to process and get a game plan together. But, I mean, that Val stuff came out, hours before the game?
2 hours.
He was at the skate that morning, ready to go. And, obviously they didn't know what was going on because Sports Run, Altitude is the Kroenke media center, and Altitude was putting out contests for Val Nichushkin sweaters that day via the radio and television. So they didn't know it was going to happen. Everyone was shell-shocked by it, and it's again in a playoffs where he is needed the most and has been very good and necessary. So they took that hit, and then Taser goes down. they weren't going to win that one, and that puts them in too big of a hole. They may get another one out of this, but I don't see them coming away from this victorious with missing one of their big key offensive components.
Tank?
Yeah, unfortunately, I agree. There was already kind of a downward trend happening on our end, and a little bit goaltending, but it's mostly just no scoring, like we saw in the first round. We had no scoring for 3 games out of the 4 that were already played, basically. I guess 2, but there was already that downward trend that was happening already, and then to have the news that we're losing 2 guys out of nowhere, completely unexpected. I'm wondering what happened. I'm wondering what happened with Michushkin. If it was a self-report.
Yeah, reportedly he failed a drug test.
Okay, so he did go hot. Okay, that's what I was wondering because I hadn't heard anything yet.
That was the report. It's not official yet. It's per sources, but reports were he failed a drug test.
Okay.
And Mark brought it up. Right, this is second time in a row in the playoffs. We had talked about the incident in Seattle ad nauseum last year. You got to think. We like to treat professional athletes as if they're robots. And they're not, right? Then the cycle of emotions you have to go through when you hear something like this from a guy who, with his track record and his history and what's happened, not only last year but in the middle of this year as well, you have to just, like I said, run that cycle of emotions of how could I have been a better friend, a better teammate? How could I have supported him better? And then did you go through the cycles of grief, right? The stages and, the being mad and upset and denial and all that stuff. And it just, Mark said it, man, it's spot on analysis. I think they just got the heart and soul ripped out of that room 120 minutes before puck drop. That's going to affect anybody, right?
And you have to assume this guy's dealing with something where maybe it's an anxiety issue or just when things get rough, that's his outlet maybe. And that's just kind of what he's adjusted to, is having some sort of substance issues. And unfortunately, recidivism rate on substance abuse is pretty damn high. So him having an issue and it popping up again is not a big surprise. And, it's unfortunate, but hopefully for his own well-being, he can figure it out.
Sounds like they just took the lead.
Yeah, Avs just took the lead.
They did.
If I can call the ghost of Sarah, if I can translate what that was a shot score from the ghost of Sarah.
Yeah, that was not a shot score, just a score from Sarah. Yeah, you heard that, ladies and gentlemen, live. Breaking news, the Avs are ahead 3-2. We're breaking live news on My Brother's an Idiot, the podcast. You are welcome. All 6 of you watching us live, you just saw it.
Yeah, it was Middlestat.
Yep.
Hey, he's been awesome. He's been a great addition.
Yeah. He definitely came into his own in that last series, and it's kind of been quiet. They've all been quiet this series, but
I was gonna say that's been everybody.
So
anyways,
were you gonna say something, Mark?
No, I was just gonna push the conversation forward.
Yeah. So let's just lay it out on the line here. They're not going to win the cup. There's not any way this team, I think, probably gets out of this series, let alone wins the Western Conference and then wins the Stanley Cup. If they do, it'll be a bloody fucking miracle, and we'll all cheer and slap each other on the backs and be happy. But what do you do with Val going forward? He's signed for another 8 years.
Yeah.
You could conceivably buy him out, but that hits your cap. And the NHL salary cap, as much as Las Vegas likes to play around with it, the NHL salary cap is
not good.
It's small.
Not big.
Yeah, it's not big. And that's a big chunk. So if you buy him out, you're taking chunks out of your cap. I think I heard the report that it goes through like
2034, 2035.
2034. Yeah.
Yeah.
and
It's at
you take
least
the
$1.5
hit
million
early.
until 2034.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know if getting rid of Val is the right call, but
I don't think getting rid of him is the right
can you
call, but
ever trust him again?
well, and unfortunately, you're in a situation where he's a repeat offender, so you have to kind of keep your eye on him no matter what. I'm It's so hard because the balance of wanting him to be there for the team and him needing to be there for his own side of things, because this is outside of hockey. This is an issue for him as a person, and that's hard to deal with. It's hard to balance those things out. And you don't want to necessarily drop the guy, but if he's going to prove to have this issue continuously, it's hard to keep paying him to be there.
Right.
Yeah, and Matt mentioned it earlier. The suspension came down 370 something days after the incident in Seattle.
Yeah.
It was slightly over a year. And right after that, you saw what the Avalanche did and all that stuff. But then he went back to his own country and was kind of a wild man there. Was taking pictures shirtless next to a Humvee with AK-47s in the rain. Say what you want about the guy, but there's got to be some character comeuppance if you want to keep him on his team. And do your teammates trust you at this point? Like, what happens here?
Yeah,
I
that's my
don't know
exactly.
what it is.
What does the locker room do now if they? And I fully suspect that they'll probably keep him around. One, financially, because they have to. Two, I think there's probably some organizational responsibility, not necessarily that it's required, but the organization probably feels like they need to try to help him, and hockey's a good outlet for that if they can keep a finger on what's going on. I mean, maybe you move him into Nate's basement and treat him like a rookie, right? We've seen that 100
times. The
AB
before. Treatment.
Yeah, just move. Well, yeah,
he moved into Tom's house for a while.
It didn't work.
It did for a year.
I mean, yeah, you're right. It did long enough for them to, make a run. But then
got him a Super Bowl. Worked long enough for that.
Now we have CTE-ESPN, so
now we have to watch that nonsense.
Yeah, there's some after effects, definitely, but it worked for a year.
After birth, sir. After birth. More appropriate.
Jesus Christ.
It's dirty and wrong.
It sounds horrible because of who it's in reference to, I think.
Right. So they have to make a decision one way or the other, right? I mean, they've got 6 months to figure it out. They obviously don't have to pay him for the next 6 months, regardless of what happens until he applies for reinstatement. And reinstatement isn't a sure thing, but he'll probably do all the things that he needs to do to get back in. But what does the room do? And what does the organization do in order to get him back right and support the rest of the team? Like you can't save one guy at the detriment of the entire team. So I think that's a choice and a decision process that the team has to go through. And this is something that McFarland and Sakic are going to have to work out over the course of the next 6 months, both looking at the financials and the right thing to do by Val.
Yeah, and like you said, for the locker room, because I guarantee there's a decent amount of people in that locker room that are pretty pissed off right now.
Yeah,
so,
I would, if I'm Val, I wouldn't want to be anywhere near Nate for a while.
No,
he's
not happy.
No.
Jack Johnson didn't sound pleased the other day.
No, Jack Johnson also not happy.
He's the only one that said something.
Yeah,
and he did say something. He actually had a comment. It wasn't much of a comment, but he said something.
For Jack Johnson, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Like he never says anything anyway.
It was newsworthy because of who it was and what he said.
Right. So I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know. And I honestly don't know what they should do. Like
it's hard.
It's a hard decision all the way around.
Here's the biggest thing, and I get stuck with this a lot. And it's every addiction is different, and as much as you try to pigeonhole it and try to make it the same and say, for my case, hey Mark, can you help this person out? You did it. You should be able to help them. That doesn't work because every single person is different. I mean, Matt, you saw it through me.
Abs just scored again.
4-2 now.
Yep.
Okay, there you go.
It is now 4-2.
I had a but short of almost killing myself, I had a relatively easy side on the other side once I stopped drinking. Because I used my, I had Matt, I had Sarah, I had, my friends and family around me. I don't know what Nate's situation looks like. He's in a foreign country. Granted, he's been stateside for a while, but are all of his people here? I don't think so.
Probably not.
It's everybody is different and you have to approach it differently. There's not one set solution for it. And so us not being there and us not being in the situation, we're all speculating now. And I get that that's what we're doing, but we have to be very careful with how we approach it because you don't know. Like you said, we don't know what it was this time. We assume it was alcohol the last time, but there was probably other things involved as well. And then the fact that what is being reported is a failed drug test, aka like you just said, Frank, a piss test, means that it is drugs and not alcohol. Means that there's more than one demon we're fighting, and I hope he gets the help that he needs, and I hope he's able to make a full recovery, and we can see him again. But more importantly, I hope he's safe and he gets the help that he needs.
Yeah, because that makes me assume that it's something else. It was either something else or someone reported on him for alcohol, because you would have to be drinking hard the day of to pee hot on an alcohol for alcohol to show up in your urine.
Right.
So I'm assuming that's not it. If it was a test, it's probably whatever else.
But we may never know. They've been so closed about this whole thing since Seattle. We may never know.
And
I have a feeling
that's hockey, right?
Once Val goes away from the Avs, we're going to start to hear some stuff, and that'll be really interesting. But you're right; it's hockey. Hockey is very closed.
Right.
Go ahead, Matt. I don't mean to
I was going to say the same thing happened with Sammy Girard. You don't just enter the They call it the player assistance program, but let's call it what it is. It's the substance abuse policy. That's
correct.
What this is.
Right.
So they call it the player assistance program. Whatever. Put a label on it.
Yeah, you're just flowering.
But the same thing happened. Yeah, the same thing happened with Girard, and we don't know what happened with Girard. Right. He had to go away for 2 months.
Right.
And we have no idea what that was. No idea. Was it opioids? Was it narcotics? Was it alcohol? Was it who knows?
And that's you saw what happened.
Doesn't talk about any of this shit.
We talked about this the first time this started happening. You saw what happened when these guys won the cup. They all went a little bit fucking crazy, and I get that that's kind of what you do, but look at how crazy they went. Like, it was obscene how crazy they went. How many times did we see? I'm 100%, and I've seen worse too. But how many people were never fully recovered from that? Or, their life changed after that 2 weeks of partying or whatever, like it happens to everybody. It could be anything that triggers anything. So hopefully it's not systemic and these two guys are just individual cases. But we'll see what happens. And there you go.
Dallas just scored.
So it's 4-3 now.
Breaking news. Dallas just scored. I don't know if
4-3
now. Fuck, but there you go.
Yeah, and Chang said damn, so right about the same time.
Right. Well, let's get back to the hockey bit real quick. I did want to say this. One thing I think we've learned about this team over the course of the last 2 series is that once they get the backup goaltender situation settled, and it might be Justus, it might be somebody else, but I think they've definitely found their goalie. None of this that's happened this series has been Georgie's fault. This Dallas is, I hate Pete DeBoer's hockey. And Connor McGahey, he calls it Pete DeBoring. It is so awful to watch when they get a goddamn lead. This totally reminds me of 2001 and the goddamn Devils in New Jersey and that stupid gum it up, muck it up inside the blue line. That's such a crap product to watch. It works for them. Obviously, New Jersey.
You got to be smart.
Cups out of it. You got to be smart, but Dallas gets a lead and they muck it up and it's so fucking bad. But the goals that were being scored, especially when they go ahead. So the first goal that was scored in the last game, Kale with an awful turnover deep in his zone on a power play, gives up a shorty. First goal tonight. Manson swings around behind the net. Another awful turnover. He had possession of the puck. Just keep moving with it, bud, and lets the guy take it right off of his stick, and they score. The turnovers in the defensive zone have been just terrible, and they have to get that cleaned up. None of this is Georgie's fault. Georgie has been, to all accounts and by my own eyes, very, very good. They've got their goaltender for at least the foreseeable future, as long as he continues to play the way he's playing. I know he had stretches this year where he wasn't very good, but he also had stretches this year where he was very good. And he has been very good throughout the playoffs. If you take away the first part of the Winnipeg series, and goalies are going to have bad games, but none of this that happened in Dallas, I put on Georgie at all. This is all the play in front of him.
Oh yeah, it's defense.
Yeah,
it's
100%.
defense getting in his way, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
All right,
I agree.
so
Pretty consistent problem across the NHL, if I'm being honest.
True.
There's a lot of that bullshit going on where nobody can protect their goaltender.
Right. It's goofy. All right. So Avs are up 4-3, about 15 minutes left in the third. Let's say, knocking on all of the wood, that they hold on and manage to win the game. Mark, does this see 7 games?
I would hope so, just because I want to see more.
I didn't ask you what you wanted. I asked you what
No,
you wanted.
I don't think so.
No.
I think this is like the last hurrah. They're getting some shit out, but they can't. I don't know. It's such a big blow. It's such a big
Tank?
part of it.
Yeah.
I think if they hold this game, it goes to 7. I think they get the homer win. Coming out of it, I don't know. It depends. Depends on the type of team that they are. Are they going to come together due to the loss, or are they going to let it eat them? Like happens so often. Either way, if they somehow squeeze out of the series, it's going to be rough in the championship round, because
Hey,
less
Matt.
the Oilers, but definitely Vancouver is scary.
Hey, Matt.
Yeah.
Make Tank make a pick.
Tank.
I think
Is it going to
like I
go
said,
7?
I think it's going to go 7. If they win
I was
tonight,
gonna
I
let
think
them
it goes
blabber.
7.
All right,
There
cool.
you go.
If it goes, they have to win tonight.
I'm
though,
sorry.
obviously.
I was distracted by the daycare that's happening behind Tank's door.
Yeah,
We can all
there's
hear.
Oh, I was
children
too. I was
behind
too.
me. They distracted
I
me
hear
as
'em.
well.
God,
Yeah.
what is that?
Mid-thought.
That's
Romper
why I was
room
like,
going on
refresh
in
him of the
room?
question, please.
Yeah, right.
Hold his feet to the fire for a second, shall we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I think, if they win tonight, obviously it extends to the next game. But I think if that does happen, they do win again at home, and then it goes to 7.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think if indeed they do win this game, it will go to 7. But I don't think they win in Dallas in Game 7.
That'd be a rough one. Yeah.
This team has always, for as long as they've been a thing, has always been built around speed and skill. And that Game 7 Dallas ice is always terrible in the playoffs.
Slush.
Has
It's
been
slush.
forever.
Mhm.
And I think back to 2000, the series with the Avs and the Stars, and Brett Hull's phantom goalie interference.
Mike Madonna.
Oh my God. Fuck.
Such
Jesus.
terrible
I would
hockey to
like
watch.
to say.
Kenny Hitchcock. Jesus.
Oh my god. Fuck all those
I would like to
guys.
say this is not like this is kind of what I was saying though when we were talking about this before. Which team would you rather face? Dallas consistently has been a thorn in the side for the Avalanche for 20
Mhm.
years. Consistently when we're winning, they're still the asshole that causes us to lose it in the playoffs.
It's just stylistically, and just like to your points, both of you, they play a different style of hockey that just doesn't go well with what the Avs are trying to do, which is pretty in finesse and put a lot of pucks on net, and you can't get it into the And you've got to get it into your own zone to set up that kind of offense. And Dallas's way of playing when they're being efficient with the puck and keeping it between the blues, it slows it down, and it's very
slow hockey.
Avalanche. It's the way Avalanche have always played. They've always had skaters.
Yeah, they always have, and that's the way they should be. All right, let's move on to more fun stuff. Okay, sure thing. Whichever little child that was. The Denver Nuggets have taken a stranglehold on the series, winning Game 5 in convincing fashion. Gentlemen, I would like to give you the absurd Nikola Jokic stat of the week. You guys saw Joker's stat line yesterday? 41 or 40.
13,
7.
Yeah.
No turnovers.
Zero turnovers. Would you like to know how many times that stat line would you have 40 plus and 10 plus in the points and assist line? How many times that's happened in the playoffs ever?
Twice.
Last
night.
Yes, twice, including last night. The other one was Chris Paul in 2018. So you get an idea of the kind of otherworldness that this man is living in. What I found really interesting about the way that the national media has pivoted, and I'm sure that's going to come up more later, but the way the national media has pivoted, particularly in the coverage of the game itself and the in-game, they're starting to figure out this guy's really smart. And Reggie called it out last night. Joker was getting ready to shoot a free throw, and Finch was trying to make some sort of a call. And Joker stopped, turned around, listened to what the call was, and then went back to shoot his free throw because he knew exactly what was coming. And this is what this guy does. It took him 2 games to figure out the defense. It took him 2 games to figure out, all right, this is the way we have to play. And he and Michael Malone got together and put something in place, and they won 3 straight in just convincing fashion here, fellas. Mark, what did you see out of this series in the last 3 games in particular?
The biggest thing I'd like to say, and it's going to sound like I'm talking shit about Jamal Murray, but I am absolutely not. They are diversing the ball away from the Nikola Jamal thing. And in games 1 and 2, the biggest thing they did is they got caught up in that pick and roll. And yeah, that worked great against the Lakers. That pick and roll with Jamal and Nikola worked great. But they couldn't even get Jamal with the ball to start the pick and roll in games 1 and 2. And now you're seeing the ball moving better. You're seeing Aaron Gordon has just changed the game. He's starting to take over instead of being a role player. He's like, hey, big man, you want to just give it to me and I'll fucking do this shit? And you're seeing a different Aaron Gordon than you saw in games 1 and 2, where he is being more forceful with the ball. Contavious Caldwell-Pope, Mr. KCP, looks to be healthy finally this series, and so he's starting to knock down shots, which he has not yet this playoffs. Michael Porter Jr. is still solid, a bit of a defensive liability, but I think it's just the matchup problem for him. And you're seeing some defense off of the bench, and you're seeing the resurgence of Christian Brown. Of all of the people on the bench, he has been the most effective and most consistent, and you're seeing that most in the last 2 games. Reggie's been there, but Matt, I can't stand Reggie. I love him. I wish I could like him. I like the 2-shoe thing, but his shot selection just has me like wanting to pull all of his hairs out. It drives me fucking crazy. But then Holiday's been fucking great too. And so it's been a lot of things, but you've seen a lot of adjustments. And then the other thing is the in-game decisions by Malone. You saw it very early on, and Reggie called it out again. It was the offensive foul, it was the technical that set off the offensive foul parade. I am waiting for him to do that on one of Rudy Gobert's screens, because literally every single one that he has set has been illegal. Every single one. Like, no joke. Every single one he's got an elbow. His fucking base. I don't know if you guys know the rules. You cannot have 4 foot of base. You have to have fairly, and he is 4 feet wide and leaning in with his knees and shit. Every single screen has been illegal, but they're finally starting to pick him up on the ticky tack shit. And it's the stuff that Minnesota's been getting away with. And the other thing you're seeing is they have found a really good defense against Ant, and it's the double team. And he doesn't want to take over the game. He's passing the ball off out of the double team. So it's been a great adjustment, and it's been fun to watch. It's been a lot of fun to watch.
Tank?
I would agree for the most part, and I think one of the issues that, especially game 1 and 2, was they called it, obviously the 2-man thing with Cat and Gobert, but it's honestly 3 with Reed because honestly, when he's on the court, he provides the same output as Gobert.
Right.
But they figured out how to play around that instead of playing into it. And the turnovers have decreased over the last 3 games because the first 2, it was turnover heavy for the Nuggets. They were getting caught into situations they shouldn't have been in and just turning the ball over. And then, like you said, offensively, they've kind of figured out how to. Part of it is Jokic just saying, you know what, I'm just going to put up points. You guys are pissing me off, and he's just been scoring more. I think to just kind of shove it down their throat, like, you guys have your big 3 in the middle. I'm going to score on every single one of them. Doesn't matter who you put in front of me. Mm-hmm. And that's part of it. And doing that allows him to spread the ball more. And I think that's been a huge part of the last 3 games. And then seemingly the offense is figuring out what they're doing about their shot selection a little bit better the last couple games. And I think that'd be the other big part is they're being smarter about their shots. They're making sure people are under net just in case a little bit more. And I think that's been helpful.
Mark, you called it out, the double team on Ant. And it really helped that Conley wasn't on the floor, right? And
that did help.
Because you don't have that other offensive threat and a guy who can create his own shot on the wing. But the double team and forcing Ant to get the ball out of his hands and making someone else beat you, I think was absolutely genius. And you touched on it, but I don't think you quite got all the way to where I'm going to go here, Mark. The adjustment in game 3 to stop having Jamal bring the ball up every single time, I think has paid massive dividends. And here's why. When Jamal was bringing the ball up almost every single time in games 1 and 2, they were guarding him 94 feet and getting in his chili for 94 feet. And that wears on a dude, right? And that wears on a dude with a bad leg. Like, you're asking your point guard who has a bad calf to put pressure on it the entire game that he's in the game. And that for a shooter, that's not what you want. So what they did is they switched it up and said, okay, anybody but Jamal bring the ball up, preferably one of our bigs. So AG, bring the ball up. Joker, bring the ball up. And they will not cover that for 94 feet. So now instead of Denver fighting to get to the 3-point line and only having 12, 13, 14 seconds to set up a play, they're getting across half court relatively easily. And now they're able to set up their offense with 18, 19 seconds. And that is a lifetime for a guy like Nikola Jokic.
Right.
And I don't know if you guys got the same sense, but watching that game last night, I got the feeling that not only Joker, but the rest of the team started to finally take what was being said personal. And there's been much said about how Mike Malone put the cut clip together of all the naysayers and the national jabronis writing them off, and Stephen A saying it's a sweep, Barkley saying it's a sweep, Kendrick saying it's a sweep, and I honestly think they took it personally. And Joker looked for Gobert every single time. Because, and I said this on Twitter last night, if you're following us at the Idiot Goons, how do you like that shout out?
Nice.
Every time Joker is man up on Gobert, it's a bucket. And it's been that way for 8 years. Gobert is a very, very good and one of the all-time great defensive centers.
6-time defensive player of the year, baby.
Yeah, there are. I thought it was 4.
It might be 4. He's been the DPOY for a lot.
Right. And there are two other big men with that. One of them being Denver's own Dikembe Mutombo, and I don't remember who the other one was because it doesn't matter. But he has absolutely cooked Gobert.
Mm-hmm.
And no more so than last night. He was seeking him out and said, all right, you're going to put this guy on me? Forget it. And he put him in the spin cycle 4 or 5 times. And his footwork and his shot last night was absolutely spectacular. Tank, looks like you have a thought.
I do have a thought about this because it's bringing up something Mark mentioned earlier with Gobert playing his huge base, which he does. He plays longer than he is, which he's a long dude, but he plays way wider than he actually is. That's part of the reason he gets away with a lot of stuff. He's got those 4 trophies now. I'm going to go ahead and say this one was unearned because I 100% should have went to Victor in San Antonio, but they give him a lot of leeway because of his trophies. So even if he's playing kind of shisty, nasty defense, or he's doing, he gets away with a lot because of the trophies.
It's not the defensive shit that drives me crazy. Yeah, he hits Joker in the head almost every time down. It's the fucking screens on the pick and roll.
Well, and it's all of it,
he
gets away with a lot of stuff.
comically wide base, leaning into guys and pushing them almost every single time.
And he gets away with a lot of stuff because defensive player of the year, usually they're a little more physical.
I hate that about basketball.
Yeah.
I hate that about basketball.
So he gets away with a lot of stuff. Like I said, I'm going to say it again. He did not earn it this year, but got it anyway. So there is that. But it looks like the refs are kind of saying, we know what your game is. Stop the bullshit. And I think that is a big change in the last couple of games. He's complaining about it a lot. So
that means we're doing the right thing. There's 2 other things I'd like to say is I don't know how effective Cat is going to be in this next game after you watched him pop his knee out of its socket about 6 times in that game.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But the Nuggets look a lot better on the glass too. They're cleaning up a lot more. They're getting inside. I think that they were buying into the hype of the size of Minnesota a little bit in games 1 and 2. And Minnesota is also looking a lot complacent and getting caught by offensive boards that the offensive putbacks. Aaron Gordon, it looks like a lot of times they're just throwing up shots to the rim and then saying, AG, go get it, bud. And he is smoking the ball every single time. I think he had 4 or 5 putbacks in that game, and every single one of them made me want to jump out of my seat. Not to mention the 3 slams that he had.
Oh, Jesus and Christ. He was going to end Rudy Gobert's life on that breakaway.
Oh my God!
If Gobert doesn't foul him, that is a poster the likes of which you would have seen. With
you'd have to retire.
Shamit's. Yeah, that would have been a Shamit style poster, right? Because he was going to murder that man midair with a basketball in his hand.
It's a little bit of Lob City going on, to be honest, where it's like, I'm just going to throw it up and see if AG can put it away.
It's working.
Yeah, absolutely.
Minnesota's been complacent.
Whoa. That's his role, right? He's the dunker on this team. He gives you a little bit of a shot. He's shot better in the last 3 games than he has really the entire playoffs. So you have to honor that now. You can't just let him alone. But he also flies to the basket very well. He and Joker in that double low block when the other team comes. And 2 of those passes last night.
Unreal, dude.
Like it. Absolutely unreal. That's a good word for it. Mark,
unreal.
A little bit in the reemergence of one Christian Brown. And a lot of that has to do, and here's what I like about what Malone's done. He's got Christian Brown playing the last 5 minutes of the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
Instead of MPJ.
Right.
You got a lead. You don't need the offense. You need someone who's going to have the feet to be able to keep up with Ant. And MPJ's not that guy. He's a 6'10" power forward playing a 3. He never will have that kind of athletic ability to be able to do that. Like, he doesn't have the quickness or the explosiveness. Christian does. And Christian just I've been saying it for the last 3 months. He needs to play more with the starters, and look what happens. He plays with the starters. He just goes and does his thing. He does his job. He lets the game come to him, and he was spectacular last night. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, there was that dunk that reminded me, it wasn't quite the same style of play that he had in the playoffs last year when he stole the ball and brought it around his back and then struck streaked down the sideline and jammed it. But he just cruised right in and just threw it down. God bless Christian Brown. He looks like he's 12 for Christ's sake, but man, that kid can play.
The thing I loved about the game last night was I think that was the first time he actually looked comfortable playing NBA basketball in his career. He smiled several times, and he was smiling a lot last year during late in the playoff run when he was comfortable. Last night was the first time I saw him comfortable because he would put up a shot and then turn around, look for his teammates, and smile at them. Like, that's a guy who's getting confident.
Mm-hmm. And I think part of that is, like you said, they're putting him in there at the end of the game. And that dude, if nothing else, you can call him on his shot selection sometimes and stuff like that. That dude has got some hustle in him. And that I think is the biggest part of his game that's messing with them at the end is he's not. Energy guy. Yeah, he's high energy even at the end of the game, getting in faces and slowing people down. Yeah, someone just pounded their head off a wall, I think.
I didn't hear anything after that, so I'm a little bit concerned.
I heard ooh ooh thud. That's what I heard.
That's what exactly right.
Thud. Planet of the Apes going on over there.
Yeah, no one's screaming, no one's crying. We're good. But yeah, I think a lot of it is that hustle at the end of the game, and I think when he gets in his defensive bag a little bit, where he can play at the end of the game and just be a nuisance at the end of the game, and that's perfect for him right now because he's comfortable doing that. He's comfortable just being that, that kind of panic-inducing guy at the end of the game who's going to make you think about what you're doing.
And he's fat.
Yeah.
He's got much better legs. He's fresh.
Oh, sure. Sure.
And so it's nice to have that energy burst with the guys at the end of the game.
And one of the big concerns that everyone had even going into the season is what do you do to replace what Bruce Brown gave you, especially in the playoffs? And I don't think they did it with one guy.
No.
This you've got Justin Holiday, who and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that don't know this is Drew's brother. Yeah. Who is a fantastic player in his own right, but he's a vet who's been around, who knows his role. He's ready all the time, hits some big shots. He gives you a little bit of that offensive punch. And then you've got, smart. And then you've got Christian, who gives you the hustle plays that Bruce was giving. And we talked about it last year. Bruce was the king in the series, in the playoffs of, for some reason, not being guarded and just taking it to the hole every single time. I've never seen a guy that lucky. It seemed like every time he touched the ball, everyone just forgot about him. It was like, stop the ball. And he was like, okay, you're not going to stop me. I guess I'm going to score. But he was giving you that hustle and that defense and that energy that Christian's giving you. So they've got two guys that have picked up that part of the game. And really, they're only playing 8. Right, you've got Holiday, you got Reggie, and you've got Christian.
They're trying Peyton Watson, but man, he
got in last night. Yeah, well, I don't think he's in the doghouse as much as he's lost.
No. He's just playing small minutes, is all it is.
Yeah, and
he doesn't look good
as soon as he went in. Well, as soon as he went in, they fed it to Rudy, and that's just a mismatch.
Yeah, that was terrible.
He's not ready for that matchup yet.
No, he's not. That's 5-3. The Avs just scored again.
Oh, that's good with only 3 minutes left, I think, right?
Yeah. Pete DeBoering is going to have to pull the goaltender before too long. But yeah, they've got two guys that are giving you that. This is a team I don't think anybody wants to play. This is a team that looks like the champs. And here's what I really like about the last 3 games as compared to the first 2 games of this series. The mindset is completely different. You cannot bother them. They were getting bothered immensely in the first 2 games. And you saw it. I mean, Jamal throwing stuff that never happens.
And in the Lakers series, they were getting bothered.
Yeah. Right. And I think a switch has flipped and they figured out, oh, yeah, hey, guess what? We're the champs and we're going to play like it.
Well, I think a part of that was the rest of the team getting offended on Joker's behalf. Because all the nonsense talked about Joker the last couple weeks, even the last month or so, about his, earning the MVP and all that stuff. I think.
Oh hell, the last 3 days. I mean, Shaq on.
Shaq didn't double down, but he almost doubled down.
He doubled down. He absolutely doubled down. Did you hear him on? Did you hear him on TMZ?
I heard.
He doubled down. Yeah. Oh yeah, he doubled down. He said, "Look, this is what men do."
Yeah.
No, I'm going to tell you to your face.
He said. He also, went on records like everyone thinks I hate Joker. I don't hate
Right.
Joker. I think he's
No,
really
no.
good. But what
But-
SGA did
Right.
was amazing.
Right.
And that I get his point, but he's still wrong.
Well, and
He's still
here's
very
the thing.
wrong.
You can have an opinion about that, right? SGA got votes. There are people who think that SGA had a better season, and that's fine. That's why you don't have.
He
one
had
guy
a great
picking, right?
season.
He had a fantastic season. 50 games over 30 points.
So did Luka.
Yeah,
Luka had a
Luka
great
got,
season.
and he got votes too.
Yeah.
Here's the problem with what Shaquille did. You don't do it in an interview when you're talking to the guy who just won an MVP.
Yeah.
Right.
You give the guy his flowers, and then if you want to later on, Shaq, I know you've got his fucking number. Shoot him a text, shoot him a call. Hey, you're going to hear this. I just wanted to say it to your face because that's what men do. It wasn't what he said.
It was the timing.
When he said it. Yeah.
Yeah,
And in the context of which, read the fucking room, bro. I mean, it was just a stupid rookie idiot media move by a guy who should know better. I mean, he's incredibly savvy when it comes to the media, and because he's been part of it for so long. That was just dumb. Absolutely dumb. And to Tank's point, I think that pissed everybody off.
I think it lit a fire under the
off.
rest of the team. Like, all right, well, now we're going to make sure he gets his points, his assists, and his rebounds, and we're just going to bury this fucking team now. Thanks for that.
Right.
All right, so let's predict game number 6. Tank, start with you. Going to Minnesota.
I assume this is the lockout game, honestly. I think this is the closer. They finish it.
Mark?
Yeah, I don't see Karl Anthony Towns having a great effect on this game, and in fact, you can see that he is in his head now. Like what we called up to. You can see the last 2 games, he is a completely different player than he was in game 1 and 2. I don't think that they have what it takes to get past him in game 6. I think this series is over. I think the Nuggets win by 15 plus.
Ooh,
that's very possible.
Yeah. I think that Denver is not only winning the series on the hard court, but they're also winning the series in the head. They've absolutely gotten into and are living firmly rent-free in the brains of every single person on that bench. And it's over. It's over. It's game 6. I don't know if it's going to be 15 points, but I don't think it's going to be super close. I could see this being, just short of 10. I could give it a 9-point win for Denver, especially since they'll probably figure out a way to score some points close to the end and make it respectable. But Karl Anthony Towns a head case, Rudy Gobert is a head case,
McKinley's a head case.
Yeah, McKinley's a head case. I said I've got a buddy I work with who is a Minnesota fan, and we were chatting about it before a call yesterday, and I said. Or actually this morning. And I said, any locker room that Rudy Gobert is in is great when they're winning.
Oh, yeah.
Any locker room that Rudy Gobert is in is shit when they're losing. And
that's because he's too much in his head. Like, look at the fine that he got just for acting like a jackass. That's all it was.
The Nuggets, according to BetMGM, not to interrupt you, but I'm going to.
Plus 2.5.
Currently have the Nuggets at plus 2.5. So,
okay.
And plus 110 on the money line. So that's actually pretty good for a defense.
Might be a good little double up if you want it.
Yeah.
They're plus 2.5.
Yep.
Plus 2.5. Over under is at 203.5.
Oh, so they're thinking defensive battle. Minnesota's going to take it to.
That's what they're saying.
Dude, hammer the over, give me the points, and hammer the money line.
That is exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah,
give me a Joker with the double, of course, just because that's an easy money bet.
Get him a plus 30, plus 10.
Yep. If you've got the ability to bet Jamal plus 2 on 3-pointers, I think he's going to actually have a couple of wide open shots this game.
And if you can take it, give AG a plus 2 posters.
Right. You can find that prop.
Yeah. I don't think that one's on BetMGM, but I'll ask him about it in our next sponsors meeting.
Yeah, next time we talk to those guys, and I'm in my royal suite at the Nomad.
Check me out at the Bellagio, please.
Say no more. Say no more. All right.
So check me out at the Delano, please.
All right, there you go. Breaking news: the Avalanche have just defeated the Dallas Stars. The series is now 3-2 going back to Denver. at Ball Arena for a pivotal Game 6.
Pivot.
And pivot. All right. Let's move on to dipshit of the week. Tank, we'll start with you. What do you got?
I am going to go with some of the stuff we just referenced. All the NBA analysts that somehow decided that after 2 games, the Nuggets were just non-existent anymore, and that they were just going to get rolled and get swept. Come on, really? You're going to bet that hard against the defending champs when they have the best player in the league? That's just nonsense. And a lot of those guys, as we've mentioned before, they've been doing this long enough to know that there's no reality in that a 2-0 doesn't mean anything these days, especially when you have someone as talented and intelligent as Joker running the game the way he does. So all of you guys, we'll see you in the next round. You can fuck off.
So there. Oh, we're gonna do this now. Okay, we're sending pictures. I just sent 2 pictures in the group. I will send these on Twitter later. The first picture is a picture of the officially licensed Caitlin Clark bobblehead.
Sorry for the laugh, but holy shit.
Oh my God.
The second is a picture of Mike Bibby. If you don't know who Mike Bibby is,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
So I saw this literally an hour ago.
I thought that
And I
maybe
was
someone
like,
asked
holy
AI to draw a picture of Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, I thought that was supposed to be an AI picture. That is just okay.
This is awful. So this is the officially licensed Caitlin Clark Indiana Fever bobblehead doll. And it's literally a picture of that. That is Mike Bibby. If you don't know who Mike Bibby is, Mike Bibby was a University of Arizona guy. Actually, I think won a championship with him with Lute back in the day. Probably the last member of that team that did. But went on to have a really good long NBA career. Played for 18 or 20 years for 6 or 7 teams. One of my favorite players when he was around. Just a kind of a dirt bag as a human, but it was a lot of fun to watch. But that is Mike Bibby and not Caitlin Clark's head on that bobblehead doll.
Yeah.
That's
So
rough.
dipshit of the week for me is going to be that.
Jabroni
Whoever
who
designed
the jabroni who
bobblehead?
designed
That's fucking Mike Bibby, bro.
That looks nothing like her. That's wild.
They made her
Mike
face
Bibby.
look like a piece of toast. Look how square that is.
It does. It's French toast, man.
It's French toast, man. It's Mike fucking Bibby, bro.
Oh, that's horrendous.
So there you go. There's my dipshit of the week for you, Matt. Back to you. Oh wait, I'm gonna steal it back from you for just a second because
Go ahead.
I'd be remiss if we didn't. Since the NFL schedules all came out today, I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Gene Mingo not being on our scheduled release show again. If he could get in contact with us, we would appreciate that. Because we would love to have him on and just talk to him literally about anything. He could talk to us about butterflies for 3 hours and we'd listen just because we love Gene Mingo. Back to you, Matt.
Thank you very much. 4 out of 5 on that shoehorn, just because it was clunky at the front side. So
Yeah, sorry.
take points.
I'll take 4.
Yeah, you stuck
Four's
the
good to
landing.
me.
You stuck the landing, but the beginning of the vault was a little bit iffy. So there you go. My dipshit of the week, and I was struggling to find one. I was actually going to lean towards NBA commentators as well. I will give Stephen A. credit. He was one who was screaming, one of the loudest screaming about how the series was over. It was going to be a sweep. He did go on today and say that was probably the worst take he's ever had in his entire career. And he apologized to the Denver Nuggets, and said that he is, who knows if this is going to happen or not, but he said he's going to do a media tour of the Denver media outlets and apologize for saying such a stupid thing.
So he's going to come on our show?
I wouldn't necessarily call us a media outlet unless you're one of the 7 people around the world.
I'd say we were more of a media inlet.
Yeah, we absorb media and then
We are Denver media personalities.
Yeah, there you go. We are the premier Denver sports media inlet.
Right.
We're not big enough for Stephen A.
That's where all the good fish are, in the inlet. My dipshit of the weeks, and I do want to give a shout out to Duchess Bobby for sharing this one because I had no idea it was the thing. I was not on social much at all today. Harrison Butker, the Kansas City Chiefs kicker, was invited to perform a commencement address at some college, and I don't know what college it was. It doesn't even.
Benedictine College in
No.
somewhere in Kansas.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I know people who went there.
Yeah,
Harrison Butker said some just out of pocket shit today in a commencement address, and I'm not going to touch on everything. I will call out a few things. Apparently, Pride Month is a sin. That one I found amazing. He started to say that the ladies in the audience were going to go out and do great things, but then immediately jammed his foot firmly down his esophagus and said, "Yeah, but you'll probably be happier if you just stay at home and raise kids like my wife does." Listen, dickhead, you make $9 million a year to kick a football. Your wife can afford to stay home and take care of the kids, so good for you. You've earned that. You put a lot of work into it. Outstanding. The normal working people of this country do not have that opportunity. And for you to say that people are probably going to be happier if they stayed home is one of the worst 1950s bullshit takes I have ever heard in my entire life. Harrison Butker can go fuck himself. And I hope he takes the entire Kansas City Chiefs team with him. Yes, Mama Sue, I said it. If you continue to root for this man in any way, shape, or form, you are also a dipshit of the week, because this kind of stupid, vitriolic nonsense is the kind of thing that is tearing this country apart and has no place in the discourse of a modern society. Fuck that guy. Fuck the Chiefs. Go fuck yourself.
I have a small tack on. I find it hilarious. Nothing against kickers. Find it hilarious that the guy that's talking about needing to bring masculinity back into the men's thing is a kicker. Sorry, dude. You're the wrong guy on the saying that.
It is interesting that he made these comments, and one of the comments he made was actually to take a quote from a Taylor Swift song and say, one of my teammates' girlfriends said this one time. Taylor Swift hates you, buddy, because of the things that you have said, because that's not what she stands for. None of her fans do. So not only now, because you're on the team that the Swifties are fans of, the team, they have started a petition to get you fired, my friend. And Swifties get what they want about 85 to 90% of the time. But I kind of closet Chiefs fan. I'm not, you guys know that, but I will not root for this man. I'm starting to boo him every time he is on the field until he is not playing football anymore. I can't believe Patrick Mahomes, in the same week where he came out with a lot of women's positivity commercials, would actually allow for this man on his team. I don't think it's going to end well for him. www.buttkicker.com is about to get his www.buttkicked.
I have had the experience. I'm not going to put a label on the experience one way or the other, because I value my life. But I've had the experience of watching the incubation of a Swiftie right before my very eyes in my own house. It's happened in the last 9 months. It's wild. They are a passionate group to a person, and no, sir, no. Fuck you, you giant jabroni.
Our number one fan is a Swiftie.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Toastman's a Swiftie.
Yeah. There's something else.
If you want some passion.
Yeah. I can always tell when it's time to clean the bathrooms, because I wake up in the morning and I hear the new album coming from the iPhone in the bathroom. I'm like, oh, she must be cleaning because Taylor Swift is on. Love you, honey. All right. Final thoughts. Pimp the things. Talk about the stuff. Tank, take it away.
Let's go Avalanche. We can get this series. Yay, Nuggets. We're going to win this series. That makes me happy. You can find us on all the socials at My Brother's an Idiot on TikTok, Twitter. Or is that Idiot Goons? I can remember which one is which.
Idiot Goons.
Yeah, Twitch and Twitter is at the Idiot Goons. We got to.
Okay, Twitch and Twitter, Idiot Goons, and then My Brother's an Idiot, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok.
We keep saying we need to fix that, and we haven't fixed it yet.
It's my brother, you idiot. You don't have to fill the whole thing out on TikTok.
I'm gonna go fix it when we're done here. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna see if I can load up at Idiot Goons. Let's just call it that and just make it even.
Okay. Perfect.
You
That
can
way,
find
they're all
me-
at Idiot Goons.
Right.
Find me
Just
on
make
my
it-
socials at Tank Knox or Knox Nostalgic on all of those things. And yeah, that's about it.
Mark.
Oh, let's see. I would like to also take note of the fact that there is a new Red Sox fan in the world. Crumb, Toastman's youngest, saw a Rafael Devers jersey in his preschool class. It's the classic away jersey because it has the name on it. So it's the white with the red letters, and he wants one now. So we've got a new Red Sox fan amongst us, that's awesome for me. Also, go Nuggets. And anybody want to go to Rio to watch a football game next year? On
Sure.
a Friday? On
Sure.
a Friday?
Sure.
Eagles and Packers opening
Sure.
Friday?
Why not? Let's
Fuck
That
it.
should
Let's
be
do
fun.
it.
Let's fucking
Let's do it.
When's Carnival? Is it the same time?
I don't care, but I'll bet they do it then.
I'll bet that'd probably be a
The
pretty good.
NFL pays for it.
They're going to have their own version. Yeah.
Right. Awesome. I do want to say for my final thought, I hope that every Nuggets fan out there truly recognizes and enjoys the fact that we are watching the greatest Denver athlete to have ever picked up a ball to play right now for the Denver Nuggets. Don't try me. It's coming. He is the greatest to have ever played a sport in this town.
All I was thinking about is he already top 15 in NBA history?
Another
They get this one. They get this one. He's top 10.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a deep top 10 too, especially
Yeah,
his
it
position.
absolutely is.
But deserved 3 MVPs
Yeah,
and 2
3
championships.
MVPs, 3 out of 4.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are saying now, yeah, we really shouldn't have done that last year, right? So
Yeah, right.
I hope that you take a moment, smell the flowers, and realize that you're watching not just generational greatness, but forever greatness. And we'll never see anything like this again in this town because it just doesn't come around very often. And this, what we have seen for the last 7-8 years and what we're going to continue to see for as long as he continues to not play with his horses in December, is the best athlete we have ever seen strap on a Denver uniform. And as a long time, 4 decades, John Elway fan, that's hard for me to say, but it's absolutely true. It is absolutely true. Make sure you check us out on all the socials. Mark's Twitch and Twitter are at Poffle Time, as well as his TikTok. My Twitch and Twitter are at Poffelupicus. You can also find me on TikTok at King Goon Smoke. A little quiet last week as we were traveling a lot. But one of the Prince Goons comes home this weekend, so watch for smoking stuff because I'm sure we'll have to fire it up when he gets home. He's coming home Friday, so we're going to have to make something. Make something. That's all the excitement. Make sure you catch us on sometime when we fire up the nerds again. We've got some stuff to talk about. Bad Batch is over.
Doctor Who, man.
Doctor Who started.
Who's back.
Discovery is
First 2 episodes were fucking unbelievable. So good, man.
Okay. All right. We're going to nerd out for just 2 seconds here.
Yeah.
How I watched Monday. I watched both of them. How much did you like that music episode? How much,
dude? That was
that's right up your alley, bro.
Like every fucking thing about it, from the maestro themselves, the costuming, like it's just incredible. To the Beatles being there, and they were in Abbey. Like I kept calling things out. The Abbey Road piano, the fucking they cut into the room where the Beatles are the first time they're playing that stupid song. You know what I'm talking about? The stupid song. I have a dog. But everyone's playing their instruments, and they got Paul McCartney. Not only did they get the guitars correct historically, they got Paul McCartney being a lefty correct, playing the viola body bass. Like everything about it, like the attention to detail, the dialogue is incredible. The way that they bring old ideas that you've always been like, why did they do that? And they're introducing this to a new audience, and they're explaining it and showing it in ways, like the butterfly effect stuff, and the showing him the future after the music is taken away, and like all these different little things that they're doing this. I'm like, this is fucking unbelievable. This is what it should be like. This is exactly what Doctor Who is. I love every second of it.
Yeah. Every moment I was watching episode 2, I'm like, Mark's gonna love this shit.
Oh,
this is right up
so amazing.
I know, it's so good. So we got that. Discovery's coming to a close, but we have the Acolyte starting soon. Deadpool's coming up, so we got a lot of good nerd shit to talk about. So watch out for that on all of the socials at Nerds That Know. For the absent Milty, we love you, Milty. We didn't talk about some Milty content coming with the prequels coming this weekend.
Hopefully within an hour or so, I should have some stuff coming out, and it'll be coming out slowly. Check out the YouTube and stuff for that, and TikTok. I'll put it up on everything, really, honestly. But got some really good content about the Preakness, the second of the Triple Crown.
Triple Crown.
There's down from 20 horses. We've got 8 in this one, guys. Milty's got some really awesome bets that, oh my god, they're insane, bro. Let's just say there's Superfecta teasing this. That involves every horse.
Oh, I'm sure it does. Just let me know how much to Venmo and who. Just let me know where to send the money. I've got it.
There you go.
There's somewhere in the neighborhood of $100 of bets cooking that he's got his eyes on. So it's a total of 100, I think, between the 3 he's thinking of. Okay. And I'm kind of in agreement with him. So
yeah, just let me know where to send the cash. Let's just do it all at once.
Cool.
So for the absent Milty, we love you, Milty.
Milty.
For the absent Dipshit, we hope you feel better. We love you, Dipshit.
Feel better, Ginger.
For what?
Get ginger in your tummy. Make you feel better. Like what? In the tum-tum. Ginger candy.
Quick update. Dallas is beating OKC by 10 with a minute 40 left in the third. So this holds the way it's going to be. It's going to be Dallas up 3-2. For Tank and for Mark, I am the Escargoon. This has been My Brother's an Idiot. We'll catch you next time. See ya. Bruh.